Alright, so what's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, with XDefiant server test session coming to a close a few days ago, I want to sit down and basically just give my thoughts and opinions on this game, on the server test session, and just everything to do with XDefiant. It's really weird to me, because I remember almost a year ago now that everybody was talking nothing but praises about XDefiant, and saying how good it is, how it feels like OG COD, it's going to be the Call of Duty killer, and it seems like everybody's opinions have very much 180'd since then. I want to sit down and have a discussion about my biggest issues with XDefiant, and basically just my thoughts and opinions on the whole Call of Duty killer situation and basically what this game can bring to the FPS market. So without wasting any more time, let's just hop right into it, and I want to talk about my #1 issue with XDefiant, which I experienced significantly over this weekend, and that was the servers. Now, I don't know what they've done to the servers over the past year, because they've been saying that the reason this game has been delayed is because they've been overhauling the servers and the netcode. But in this previous weekend that we had with XDefiant, there were so many circumstances where, I don't know, I wasn't getting hit markers as quick as I should have. I was shooting people around corners. I mean, if you watch my previous video, you will see that I was shooting a guy. I stopped shooting, and like half a second later, he just dies around the corner. And this is really odd to me, because the whole reason that XDefiant has been delayed for over a year now is because they've been overhauling the netcode and the servers and basically making the server side of this game as good as it can be. And to me, it seems like it got worse over the year. Now, I only played one game during the previous beta, so I can't really gauge it as much as I can now. But I don't remember there being any issues back then. I remember it feeling pretty good. And ever since then, they've basically just been saying we're delaying the game, that, the servers need a complete overhaul, we're bringing in a new netcode or whatever. I don't really know that stuff. I'm not very technical with that. And it just doesn't feel good. Like, it feels alright, but there are so many circumstances, like I say, where you get shot around corners or you shoot people around corners. And I just want to use the example of COD for a second. There have been so many times over the past, over a decade I've been playing the game where I might have been shot around the corner. But I can't think of a single time where I have shot somebody around the corner. I've never had that issue before, where the issue was so bad I experienced it. Usually I'm the one who dies around the corner, but this weekend I had multiple times where I shot people around the corner. Like, they ran around the corner and then they died. And the thing is, this sounds like a really small issue, but when you're talking about an FPS game where like every millisecond counts and you're counting milliseconds between time to kill and ADS and that kind of stuff, it's a really big issue because you feel the difference. Like, a couple milliseconds around the corner dying feels like a lifetime in a game like this. So I don't know what they've done to the servers or the netcode to make it feel this much of a downgrade over the past year, but I'm sure they're going to delay the game again. I'm sure they're going to be working on it, but I just want to talk about the actual game XDefiant now, because we've talked about the servers. That's a very blatant, commonly known issue. There's two very different ways you can talk about XDefiant. The first one is as the Call of Duty killer, the Call of Duty competitor, whatever you want to call it. Or you can just talk about it as a standalone game, as its own thing. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing here, because you see a lot of people online calling it the Call of Duty killer, or people saying, this won't kill COD, I'm just going to go play COD, I'm not playing XDefiant, or it's the other side of that, I'm not going to play COD anymore, XDefiant's the best. I don't get why people have this mentality that you can only have one. You can play both, and that's what I intend to do. Because I've been a Call of Duty fan for well over a decade now. I'm probably not going to stop playing Call of Duty. But the thing is, I really enjoy playing XDefiant, and it basically brings out... It's basically like playing old COD. It's like, the old engine, the old gunplay. And I've seen people use that as sort of an insult to XDefiant. Like, oh, it just feels like an old Call of Duty game. And if you've actually played the old Call of Duty games and you're someone like me who prefers the old engine, that's a good thing. Like, that is a really good thing. Like, XDefiant basically brings the FPS genre to the basics, because especially with COD these days, it's so overcomplicated. Like, let's say, for example, in Modern Warfare 3, right? You've got all these different guns and you've got to unlock, certain attachments by leveling up another gun, and you can't unlock that gun without doing an armory unlock, which means you have to do daily challenges, and then you have to unlock that gun through daily challenges, use that gun to unlock another gun to unlock an attachment for a completely different gun that you wanted to use in the first place. It's just all really overcomplicated in modern COD, and it's really fucking annoying, to be honest with you, because what made Call of Duty so good back in the day was how simple it was. You could literally hop in, you could just have fun, you could call in your kill streaks, do your special abilities, whatever, slap on an extended mag or long barrel or stock instead of the Huntsman XR30K, which does 2 milliseconds ADS speed. Like, this is what I mean. And this is why a lot of OG COD fans like myself really appreciate XDefiant, because it brings this thing back to basics. It's not overcomplicated. It's literally you hop into the game, you shoot people, you use your specialist abilities, and you have fun. I've also seen a lot of people call XDefiant a COD clone, and to be honest, to say that XDefiant isn't at least inspired from Call of Duty is just a straight up lie. But the thing is, COD has needed an actual competitor in the FPS market since its inception. I mean, can you think of another arena-style, respawn, multiplayer-type game like COD that can actually compete with it? And I'm not talking about, like, you know, in terms of sales or money generator, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about, like, actual raw quality of the game. Nothing has actually come close to COD, because we chat shit about COD, we say a lot of bad things about it, but when it comes to things like the movement and the gunplay and that kind of stuff, nothing comes close to COD. Not even anything even in the FPS market, yet alone something with that arena-style multiplayer gameplay. And that's what keeps people coming back to COD every year, is because it's the best. In terms of that raw, you know, gameplay aesthetic and gameplay loop, it's the best, 100% without a doubt. There's nothing that comes close to it. And that's where XDefiant comes in, because XDefiant is very similar to COD, but they're actually sort of challenging COD and a lot of the things they used to do. For example, with the prestige system, with the creator class being as simple as it is. The XDefiant is doing a lot of things that COD fans have wanted to see for a long time. And Activision and, you know, whoever have become complacent because they have no competition in this market. They can basically do whatever the hell they want and they can get away with it because they've got nobody who raises the bar. And as soon as XDefiant actually gets their act together and they release this game, they will raise the bar. And I'm not saying that this game is going to compete with Call of Duty in terms of like numbers or sales and stuff, because I just don't think that's possible anymore. I'm at least hoping that XDefiant will listen to the community so much and bring some people away from COD to the point where Activision are like, oh shit, we need to do something about this. Instead of just being complacent like they have been for the past few years and just doing what they want, they actually might listen to the Call of Duty fans and start making better games again. Now, one final thing I want to talk about is basically just the overall flair of XDefiant. I really like the art direction of the game. Like, the maps look really good. The map design as well is really good. Once again, they remind me of like original COD maps where like they're sort of like complicated 3-lane style maps, but they're not over complicated. They're not like boring 3-lane maps. Like, they're just really good. And like I say, I love the art direction for this game as well. I love the cartoony, little less realistic art style of it. And one thing that I really appreciate, which I mentioned earlier as well, is the weapons. Now, one thing that I've talked about before, I really love how every single weapon is called the actual real life counterparts. Like, you've got the M4A1 and the ACR 6.8, not the XD Lamau 72. And I've been saying this about COD for a while, especially the past couple of years with the Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. I hate the new platform system and the way they name their guns, because it just blends every single gun into one. Like, you've got the Cast-Off 7.62 and the Cast-Off 5.45, or you've got the MCW 6.8 or the 5.56. It's such an underrated detail that I really like that XDefiant's doing. They're actually calling the guns what they should be, and I really like that. But I think with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, it's just gone way out of control, especially like I said before with how complicated it is to unlock a certain attachment. Like, I like the idea behind it that if you unlock, let's say, a certain grip, you have that across every gun, you only have to unlock it once. But at the same time, it's really complicated, because if you want to use the, I don't know, the ACR, and you want to use this vertical grip, you've got to go unlock the DG. But to unlock the DG, you have to do an armory unlock, and then you have to level up another gun to do that. Like, it's just way too complicated, especially for the average person. Like, I don't mind it, but you've got to bear in mind, the people who just hop on just for some fun, they would just want to use the gun, just use an attachment, and they just think, you got to level up that gun. But now it's not that simple. And I just want to say as well, I like XDefiant's Gunsmith a lot better. I think XDefiant's Gunsmith is the best version. It's basically like Modern Warfare 2019's, but a little bit more simplified. Basically just because there's less attachments. Like, I really liked Modern Warfare 2019's idea with the Gunsmith, in the sense that you just level up your one gun, you've got the attachment set for that. But the thing is, there were too many like variations of things. Like, realistically, there should only be a couple variations of each attachment. And in that game, there was like, you know, 20 different grips, like 50 different optics. And I think XDefiant is a more refined version of Modern Warfare 2019's, which I think is probably the best version. Like I said previously, I hate the new COD one where, like, there's 40 different grips and 700 different optics. Like, it's a joke, man. It really is. So basically, to sum up everything that I've talked about here, I really like XDefiant. I think it has a very strong future, especially for people like me who are OG COD fans. And I think it has a lot to bring for people who maybe don't enjoy COD now, or even just people with half a brain who want something in addition to COD, because it's all well and good having one FPS game, but it gets boring after a while, trust me. Like, just sitting there and playing the same game over and over and over again, it gets boring, and having variety in your games will actually make you enjoy gaming again, because I see a lot of people say, oh, gaming's dead, gaming's this, how, the other. If you play more than one game, you might realize that it's not. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.